be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day.
Will it? I don't know.
What your mother said, read the books your father read.
Father, no way.
Try to solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view.
No, more.
You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Don't ask no questions.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your favourite YouTuber, Man Overboard, back again for another episode. Sorry, I know I was a bit cheesy with the weights there, but I'd just like to show everyone that I don't sit at home and muck around. I do work out. These are my own home weights. I do cardio as well. I go for jogs, walks every day, every second day, working out my weights every day. Not just these, the biceps, the pecs, the shoulders, everything gets a workout. Now, just going back to the end of my last video, I don't know if that's happening here at the moment. It's a bit dark. Let's see if I can fix that. Yeah, all right. Still a bit dark, but that'll do. I don't mind it dark at all. Going back to my last video, there was, I did say something about them. Women complaining that there's a man drought, there's not enough men to go around. Well, if that's the case, then how come every time I talk to a woman in my job, when I casually meet them in social settings, for example, the first thing, or within the first 2 minutes, the word, oh, my boyfriend, my husband, my boyfriend, the guy I go out with. If there's so many single women looking for very few single men, how come the single men that go out experience this all the time? We get told, my boyfriend, my husband. Then you have to ask, are you seeing anyone? I don't have to get to the stage of asking for a girl's number or saying, what are you doing Wednesday night? It just comes out of their mouth, oh, my boyfriend, my husband. Is it a defense mechanism, or are they really all taken? Are all the women taken? Are we just a bunch of single men left alone because all the women are taken? That's another question I pose. Now, I know this video, this video in particular may not sound like a solutions-based video. It will. There is something along those lines, but I know what my channel will be a solutions-based channel, not really a black pill, but more solutions-based black pill channel. The first thing I'd like to talk about, when I was, I do rideshare, and I do come across a lot of women who get into my car in pairs and threes, even on their own, and they constantly talk about other men, or men they know. Now, this is what I term female locker room talk. So you won't get it out in the open. They won't be honest, but when they're amongst themselves and they know that there's a strange man there who doesn't care, who wouldn't be listening, wouldn't affect him, they talk amongst themselves about men and what they find and what they do and what they find attractive, the men they find attractive, and gossiping about men and other girls and how they relate to men and in their social circles and just general. Now, on Monday, I picked up these two models. They were actually talking about their models, and they were talking about going for their shoot down in another city in Australia. And I dropped them at the airport, and they were both 21. They told me they're 21. Very friendly. They weren't nasty. They were really nice girls. But the whole way they weren't talking to me. They were talking to each other, and they were talking about friends that they know, some other female friends in the industry, in the modelling industry. And all they were talking about was the type of guys they were hooking up with. These girls, well, this guy and that guy and this guy, and she hooked up with this guy. Oh, she was a slut, you know, all this other, it really gets me, when you really see the true side of women when they're on their own, behind closed doors, locker room talk, as I like to call it, and the truth will come out. They mightn't have to be drunk, but if they're amongst themselves on their own, where there's a man that they don't know, and people who don't know them, they will talk amongst themselves. That's when the truth comes out about female nature. A few weeks ago, I had a similar situation in my ride share. I had picked up two women, them probably early mid-30s. They were going home from work, and we passed by a bar. It was a bar on a corner of a street where there's red lights. So I stopped at the red light, the first car, and there's a balcony just a little bit above street level on this bar. And there were about 10 guys out there. And there was these two women in them early mid-30s in my back seat. And one of them was a little bit tipsy, the other one was sober. The tipsy one said to the sober one, who was sitting on the side of the bar, "Can you look out the window there and tell me if there's any cute guys there that I could shag?" Why do they have to be cute? Why can't they be just normal guys? Or you don't know these guys, so you're only judging them on their cuteness. You don't know anything about them, their personality, what their likes, dislikes are, their values in life, their beliefs, whether you'd match up with them in that sense. No, it's about finding the cutest guy in there to go and have a shag with. So basically what these women are doing is they're filtering firstly by a man's looks. And then once the looks filter is done, so none of those men will ever get a chance, they'll find the cutest guys in there, and what they'll do with these cute guys is then they'll get to know them better. So you have to pass that gatekeeping looks test first, from what I'm saying. And once you pass that test, then you have to audition with the women to see if they will take it further with you, if you know what I mean. Well, what can I say? She said, no, there weren't. And I had a look. I had a sneak peek. So a friend said, no, there weren't. And I had a look at the sneak peek on the bar. There were about 10 blokes there, as I said. There were probably about 5 or 6 of them over the age of 50, older. One of them was a really good-looking bloke with a top off and a good body. And if she didn't think he was cute, I don't know what. If her friend didn't think he was cute, I don't know what her standards are. And then there were probably about 3 or 4 just average-looking guys sitting around having a drink. So yeah, apparently no cute guys, and there's a man crowd. Yeah, but anyway, enough about female locker room talk. I'm pretty sure you get the gist. Now, on Monday, I was on a lunch break in a shopping centre, and I bumped into a bloke I haven't seen in 15 years. He's actually born in Zimbabwe. He's white, and he immigrated to Australia when he was a kid with his parents. And I was asking him if he's married. The first thing I asked him. Now, I haven't seen this guy for 15 years, and as long as I've known him, he's never had a girlfriend. He's always been single. And he's 2 years older than me. He's actually 48 years old. And now he's lost his hair. He's got like a very thin hair, receding thin hair from the nape here, the front of the forehead, the top of the forehead, all the way back to the crown. And then the sides are thick, but he hasn't shaved it. It's like it looks like a balding, not a comb over, but just a balding look where it's not shaved. And it's getting very thin at the centre here with hair on the wall as well. And the first thing that came to my mind now, I realised the guy was single, never married, never had a girlfriend in his life as far as I've known. And the first question I asked him was, "Are you married? Are you married?" Now, this is what he told me. He said, "No, and I don't care. It's better this way. Better to be single. There's less hassle. There's less financial stress. I don't have to give up my finances for wives and kids. I've got the freedom to travel when I want, to go where I want, to do what I want. No one's going to tell me you can't do that. You've got to be with me." Now, I understand that some men will see this as a blessing or even a solution. Is having no woman in your life a solution to not attracting women? I understand that there's a community called MSTOW, MGTOW, and I know a lot of members in that community. They're decent guys, a lot of them. I've been to one of their meetings in Sydney here, and it's fantastic. I got on with them. But there's a difference between going your own way if you can get a woman or had a woman in the past, and then just being sent your own way, which is you've never had a woman, you've never been able to attract a woman, and you say, you know what, to hell with it, I'm not going to bother. It's better this way. I love my life, I'm going to stay single. Is that a solution? Now, I know I want my channel to be solutions-based, and I'm putting this to you, is that a solution? Well, not really. Look, a man has a biological drive to mate up and pair up and obviously have sex with partner that he can find, or as many partners as he can find. That we know. Is a solution just ignoring that? How can you ignore your biology? Now, I don't know. I think he's a man sent his own way, not going his own way. That's my opinion. And I mean, who knows? If he's happy like that, good for him. But I don't see it as a solution. I see it as more as a coping mechanism. For just saying, yeah, look, no woman finds me attractive, and I'll just stay single. I'm happy this way. Probably not. He's probably not, to be honest. And I asked him, I said, have you travelled? Have you met girls elsewhere? He says, yeah, I go on holidays to Asia. I've been to the United States recently. I said, don't you find the girls different? He says, no, not really. He says, girls, it's the same all over wherever you go. They're still after the same things. And no, he says, no, I've got no interest in settling down. And I'm 48. I've never been married. Never had a girlfriend. And he's got no interest in settling down. I've said before, I've got no really interest in settling down either. I just want to have fun. I just want to meet women and have some fun with. And if it leads to, things in the bedroom, so be it. I'd love that. I wouldn't have to pay for it. But, yeah, I just, maybe if you want to leave your opinion in the comments as if you see that's a viable solution to the issues. I don't see it as a solution, but maybe some of you do. Now, the other thing I was going to talk about today was people, men trying to set you up with women they know. Now, I've been friends. A lot of my friends are better looking than me. I'm not going to beat around the bush and say that they're unattractive blokes. These blokes attract women, and they've met women, and they know a lot of women. A lot of my friends, and when they try to introduce me to girls, they never show that. They never tell the girl what I look like, or they never show them my picture. They say, I've got a really nice guy you want to meet. He's a great guy. He's a good mate of mine, etc., etc. All well and good. They meet me. Now, I've got a friend of mine who's done this constantly throughout my life. He's actually broke. He's unemployed. He's a good-looking man. He still gets a lot of female attention. A lot of females in his life, even though he hasn't got a cent to his name. Was living off government checks. He constantly introduces me or tries to introduce me to new women. And I thought to myself, am I some charity handout for you? You're the one who needs money, and you've got all the women, and you're trying to be a charity to me to give me your women that didn't want to meet me in the first place, and they didn't. A lot of them didn't. You meet them and they're just friendly to you. They're not really interested in something with you. Why? Because they don't know what you look like until you meet them in person. And when you meet them in person, they realise that you're not as great as your friend makes them out to be, as your friend makes you out to be. And they don't want anything to do with you because they judge you straight up on your appearance. They judge you straight up on your appearance. It doesn't matter if I'm making 10 times, 100 times more than my mate. They're judging me on my appearance versus his appearance. And that's the issue I faced. Now, the other problem I have with this introducing you to women and female friends who are single from better-looking blokes who are trying to palm off a few women in their circle to you, feeling bad for you. What do women think about men who have to accept friends who have to set them up with women? You can't attract a woman yourself? What's wrong with you? There's something terribly wrong with you. You can't attract a woman. What do women think? Is that what women think when a man introduces them to the friends? Like, why is he so desperate that that he has to be introduced to me? Does he have problems with women? Is he unable to attract women? Well, if that's the case, I don't want to know it. Women are like that. Women don't want to know men unless the men are attractive already to them and can attract their own women into their lives. And this is the problem I have with being introduced. Now, there was by male friends. And there was another friend of mine, the other friend I was talking about, not the previous video, the video before that, where I was a share a coke with old mate. He introduced me to a girl. He was at home, and the girl was in his place. A friend of his, I think one of his parents' side of the family. They were family friends. It was their daughter. She was single. She was out here in Australia. She's from overseas, and English speaking. And he says, "Oh, I'll get you to knock on the door, and she'll open the door, and she'll see you." Now, this guy my friend had never shown her a picture of me. She didn't know what I looked like. I was probably in my mid-20s. I think it was 25, 26 at the time. At the time, I had, maybe younger. No, I was actually, I think it would have been about 23, 24 before I shaved my head. I was had that hair transplant, the old soft little scraggly hairs, thin hairs at the front, bald patch here, and long hair around the side. Looked like a weird old comb over. I'm not tall as well as you know, I'm 5'6". So I went to the door, rang on his bell, and this girl opens up, and she looks at me and she says, "Oh, can you give me a minute?" And she shuts the door. And then a few seconds later, I hear some laughing coming from the wall behind. I heard her laughter, and I didn't hear much of his laughter, but I think it was like, "What the hell are you introducing me to this ugly freak for?" You know, that was the kind of. And then when I went inside, she didn't want anything to know. She didn't want anything to do with me. Either that, or she wanted me to do all the chasing, which I wasn't going to do, because if they're not attracted, then why do I have to put all the effort in? If I'm saying 100 words in a conversation, and she's carrying it with 1 or 2 words, is that attraction? Tell me, is that attracting a woman? Is that a mutual attraction? Do I have to put 100 words to their one? Is it really that difficult? Should it really be that difficult? And, I swore to myself after, him, and then my other friend that I was talking about earlier, I swore to myself that I will never accept these hand-me-downs again. I will never be set up like this again, because it's embarrassing to me that I can't, it's showing the woman that I struggle to meet women myself, that I have to have my friends try to hook me up with their friends. And by the way, the other guy, that guy, the good-looking friend of mine who's unemployed, how can I say this? He gets pissed off if one of the girls introduces me. This is the whole sick thing about it. He introduces me to a friend of his that he knows, right? She's single. He might be having sex with one of her friends, and her friend. He introduces me to her friend. Guess what happens to him? He gets all pissed off and jealous that I'm getting on with this girl. Even though there's nothing sexual, I'm having a conversation with her, and you can see his eyes. He's got this rumpled look on his forehead, like, "Ugh, how dare you get on with this girl? I want this girl as well." It is ridiculous. And I swore to myself that I will never, never, never have this happen for me again. Never get this to happen to me again. And I swore to myself that if this ever happens again, I will be the one introducing him to thousands of women. I will be the one introducing my friend to thousands of women. Not 1 or 2, but thousands. I don't need to be the hand-me-down. I don't need to be the charity case. It's unattractive and women do not want it, from my experience. And that's what I want to do. That would show me to be the man in their face and get their respect back for once, instead of them having to hand me down their women that these women don't even want. They're not attracted to me. You can tell straight away they're not attracted to you. They'll talk to you out of politeness, but at the end of the day, they must be thinking, he can't attract women, therefore he's in a pretty shit situation. That's not attractive, so we're not attracted to him. That's not attractive behaviour. If he can't attract a woman himself, we're not attracted to him. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe if you haven't been to my channel before, and like and share. I've been Man Overboard once again, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.